Hello everybody. On today's video I wanted to talk about a lot of good things that have been going on in my life recently, a lot of things that I'm really proud of as a person, and I feel like a lot of weight has been lifted off my shoulders and I feel so empowered and I feel better. I feel like a new person. Like I feel like a phoenix that's been reborn from the ashes. And I've, for those of you that have watched my previous videos, I talked about having, you know, having been raised by a narcissistic mother and also dating narcissists because, I don't want to blame my exes because, nobody's perfect, and I wish all my exes the best, except maybe one, um, because I realized that I was I was repeating, what was familiar to me. I was putting myself in situations that were not in my best interest because I didn't know any better, and I was so conditioned to make other people happy and put myself and my needs last. But I've been learning more and more how to place healthy boundaries between me and other people and putting my happiness first. And it's been such a joyous experience. So for the past 2 years I've gone no contact with my mother, um, by the professional advice of my psychiatrist, because he told me your your mother is always going to blame you for everything that's gone wrong in your life, and it's not good for your mental health to be near that kind of environment. It doesn't matter that she's your mother, you know, nobody should be treated that way, and just stay away from her. You know, if you want to heal, you need to get away from that environment. And I took what he said very seriously. So I've been on two different antidepressants for the past, I want to say 3 years. 2000, yeah, about 3 years. I've been on two different antidepressants, and they really helped in the sense of making me into a functional adult, because I had a hard time getting out of bed. I had a hard time with motivation. And it's really easy for people to just say, oh, well, you're just lazy. It's like, well, I'm not. Maybe in some habits I was lazy, but anyone that's gone through severe depression knows that when you're depressed, you it feels like there's these invisible chains in your body that are like connected to the ground, and it takes so much effort to get out of bed. It's like you have like chronic fatigue because you're literally like your body's in a depressed mode. Like your hormones are probably like low, your energy levels are low, your self-esteem is to the floor, and so many little things that people take for granted, like when I was at my worst of depression, I would go a week without taking a bath. I would maybe brush, oh my gosh, I would brush my teeth like maybe every other day. I know it sounds gross. I wouldn't care what I would wear. I wouldn't take care of like my appearance. I just didn't care about myself enough to do like to look nice or to feel nice, because I just felt so worthless. I felt so alone. I just, it's how I was conditioned feeling growing up, being raised by a narcissistic mother, that she made me feel like anything that I wanted was being selfish. Anytime I voiced my feelings or my needs, she would kind of give me a lot of backlash, or she would punish me. so I wouldn't speak out. And it really messed me up mentally for a long time. And it made me realize how much I was looking for someone else to love me when I should have been loving myself this whole time. Like, I kept going from relationship after relationship. There is 3 relationships in a row. I was only single for like 2 weeks. 2 weeks before somebody else asked me out, and I said yes, despite me knowing I shouldn't go from one guy to another. I should be single and, heal from my relationship before I get into another one. And that was such a vicious cycle because I had a really hard time saying no to people because I was conditioned to think that if I say no to people, I'm being rude and I'm being selfish. So I need to say yes. And it sounds, excuse me, I just had surgery like last week. Uh, it sounds ridiculous, but I wasn't even aware like what I was doing. Like anytime I was put on the spot and someone was asking something of me, like there was 2 guys that I dated that I wasn't even that attracted to, and I went out with them because I didn't want to hurt their feelings, because my mother made me think that I was this selfish, horrible person, and I in a way I wanted to prove her wrong. I was like, no, I'm not this selfish person. Like, I do care about other people. So I was like on this mission to prove to myself that I'm not this monster that my mom thinks that I am. And that's how narcissistic people are. They try to make everyone else look like such a villain because of this persecution complex they have that honestly I don't know where she got it from. And so the past 2 years I've been slowly healing. When I was living with my mother, my period was extremely irregular. It was to the point where I even went like 6 months without a period. I wasn't pregnant. I went to my doctor. There was nothing wrong with me. They just said I was under a lot of stress. And then last year, I finally had the courage to tell my PCP, my primary doctor, that, hey, I don't sleep well at night. I I noticed since I was little I would snore a lot, and I wake up extremely tired, and I don't think it's normal that I need like 15 hours of sleep just to feel rested. Like something's wrong. Even people that, would hear me sleeping would comment that, you go, when you sleep, there's times when you don't breathe and you're gasping for air. So I knew, that's something that I needed to fix and to take care of in my body. But I was so like in my head of I was so used to neglecting my needs that I just didn't make that a priority until I detached from my narcissistic mother and I started putting myself first. And for the longest time, I felt like I had to earn love. With my mother, it felt like I had to earn her love. And like if I didn't wash the dishes, if I didn't make myself useful, she made me feel like I was a horrible daughter. Like to her, acts of service, I guess, was her love language, but she did it in such a twisted, uh, toxic way that it affected my self esteem. And it made me think that being myself is not enough. I need to earn people's love. And that, you know, that, um, that also leaked into my relationships. I, I put myself in relationships that weren't in my best interest, where people were just using me. And even from the start, I knew this wasn't going to work out, but I went with it anyway because I was so starved for affection and love that I really wanted to make things work with whoever I was dating. despite them not meeting my requirements or not being at my level. Like, I was dating people that weren't motivated, that didn't achieve anything in life, that were addicted to weed, and despite me this greatly disliking, people that are addicted to weed, like, I would go against my own requirements because I wanted to feel loved. And because I'm an only child. I was by myself. And human beings are social creatures. We're not meant to be by ourselves. We're meant to socialize and be a part of a group, part of a family. And I was really I was looking for external validation when the whole time I should have been loving myself. And I realize that now, but back then I was still thinking that I need to have a husband. I need to have a boyfriend because society tells me I'm not complete unless I have a family, which now I know that's BS. And more women are choosing to be single. I mean, men too. More and more people are choosing to be single because that's not in everyone's best interest. You know, right now, my focus is on my son, who's 6 years old with autism. Any, like, I tried all kinds of relationships, from long-term relationships to casual relationships to hookups to friends with benefits, and I realized all of them are, no matter what kind of level of commitment, these people, I'm gonna inherit the the problems these people have going on in their lives. They're gonna make their problems my problems. And that's when I realized, you know what? I don't want to talk to anyone. Like, they're gonna, my life is already complicated. I already live a very busy sorry, my friend is calling me. I already have so much going on in my life, and bringing another person into it, whether it's for fun or for, you know, for commitment, is, if it's not in my interest, if they don't add to my life, they're just gonna cause me trouble. And I don't need to put up with that. And so last time I accidentally bumped into my mother because she was at my aunt's house and I needed to drop off something for my aunt, and my mother went into the house unannounced. And she was making it sound like I was being mean by not wanting to talk to her. And she basically was trying to hug me, telling me like just, just stop already, stop ignoring me, like, give it a rest. Just, like, you're my only daughter, like, don't be like this. And I'm like, no, I I don't care that I'm your only daughter. You really messed me up. You never treated me like I was your daughter. You treated me like I was this awful person, and you messed me up. Not just mentally, but I was under, you were a horrible person to me. Horrible. And you took the loss of my baby, as you weaponized that to hurt me. Like, who does that? That's not normal. And I told her, like, you said horrible things to me that I can't just act like nothing happened. And it's 30 years worth of abuse. It's not just like it was one fight and I'm mad at you. No, it's 30 years of the same abuse that you keep giving to me. Like, you take it out on me. And I was starting to become like you. And I didn't want to. I didn't want to become the monster that you are. And she said, well, I was just mad because you told me this. And I'm like, I was just trying to tell you how I was feeling. And anytime I would tell you how I felt, you turned it into an attack. Like, that's not healthy. Like, when your own child is trying to tell you, Mom, you're hurting me when you do and you act this way, and you take it like like criticism, which, okay, maybe in a way it is, but it's not to hurt you, it's to communicate with you. That's the whole point of communication, is trying to reach a middle ground. And you don't have the maturity to talk like an adult. Like, if someone's not basically kissing your butt, you're gonna take it as an attack. Like, that's very childish. And I told her, like, I don't need to, like, I don't care that I'm your only child. Like, you should have thought about that. Like, you thought just because you were my mom that you can treat me like however you wanted. You felt like I owed you. You When you made it so obvious how much you hated the responsibilities of being a parent, like, you think I didn't pick up on that? Like, I wasn't stupid. Like, it took a lot of healing, it took a lot of self-reflection, it took a lot of basically dating my mother, like, with my ex-boyfriends, to realize that this is not good for me. And I was so conditioned to ignoring my own wants and my own needs that I kept putting myself in situations that were not in my best interest. I kept dating other narcissists or people that didn't deserve me. And now I'm putting myself first. I had surgery to fix my sleep apnea. So it turns out that I had a deviated septum. So there's like this bone or cartilage that divides your nasal cavities, your nostrils, and mine was super crooked. Not only that, but the ENT, the ear, nose, and throat doctor, told me that your nostrils are like a fourth the size of what they should be. They should be 10 centimeters each, and yours is like 2 and 4. And so they had to do 3 different procedures, outpatient surgery, and I did it last week. And before that, I was using a CPAP machine for my sleep apnea, and oh my god, like, I have so much energy now because I'm listening to my body. I'm going to my doctor. I'm doing annual checkups. I'm voicing, what's bothering me. I'm voicing what I want fixed in my body and what I feel needs medical attention. I'm wearing more makeup now. I'm wearing dresses at work. I'm painting my nails. I'm doing things that I normally wouldn't do on a daily basis, maybe on special occasions, but I'm loving myself. These past 30 years, I realized I keep looking and looking and looking for a boyfriend, thinking that the only way I'm gonna feel happy and loved is by being in a relationship, when that's not true. You know, you don't need a person to feel whole. Relationships can be beautiful if you're with the right person, but you shouldn't be codependent on someone to be happy and fulfilled. You should be whole by yourself. Like, if you're not happy being single, you're not going to be happy being in a relationship. Like, that's just the way it is. Like, relationships can be beautiful, but both people should be their own individual people. They should be able to be happy on their own and not expect the other person to make them happy 24/7. Like, it should be a mutualistic, respectful relationship, yes, where both of you bring out the best in each other. But that happens when both people, you know, are putting themselves first. Not in a selfish way, but in a healthy way. Like, I love you, but I'm not gonna put all of my happiness on your shoulders. I will do my best to make you happy, but I'm still gonna do things that I need to do for myself. I am a whole person on my own. I don't need another person to be happy. And that took me so, and I would hear people say that, but it never really clicked until I realized, like, yeah, like, it's like I'm looking for someone to complete me, but they're not gonna complete me. Only I'm gonna complete me. And now, I'm doing things that make me happy. I'm doing things that make me feel better. I can now, now that I had the surgery about a week ago, I can breathe. I have energy. I feel happy. I I'm just like I'm putting myself first, and I can't believe it took me this long to realize that I was living for someone else's happiness. I was conditioned to think that doing what I want was being selfish and being a bad person. And, you know, I've had maybe like 5 guys ask me out already, and I said no. Like, I literally wrote a list of non negotiable traits that I want in a person. And I even told myself, unless this person is complete on their own and they add to my life, I don't want anything to do with them. Like, I don't need that stress in my life, because relationships were nothing but trouble for me. And it distracted me, it deterred me from my own goals, my own personal growth as a person, and my career. I take so much pride in what I do in my job. Don't get me wrong, I love my son, I love being a mother, but that's not all I want to do in my life. I don't want to just be a mother, and I don't want to be just someone's housewife, just doing laundry and cooking. Like, that just sounds like I'm just a servant, and I'm not happy that way. I'm not. I'm happy working at the hospital. I love, helping people. I love the patients that I have when they have an issue. For example, there was this lady with cancer who, because she was intolerant to milk, she was avoiding these nutritional shakes. And with cancer, you lose so much weight. And she was obviously malnourished. Like, I could see like the bones in her face, and she was really young. And she would tell me, well, I can't drink those shakes because they have milk. And I'm like, oh, are you allergic to milk? And she's like, no, I'm just lactose intolerant. And she's like, well, most of them are lactose free, if not all of them are lactose free. And I even brought her one to have her try it. And she was so grateful. She was so scared that she wasn't going to handle it, because she had a severe lactose intolerance. She would get diarrhea, stomach cramps, sometimes throw up. But I'm like, no, like this is lactose free. And I would give her one, and she was so happy. She was so happy. She was like, oh my God, like, you saved me. Like, I feel like now, whenever I lose my appetite, I can just now, like, drink these shakes, because it's easier to drink a liquid than to eat a meal when it comes to gaining weight, especially with cancer patients. And, I, and she never came back for, like, uh, for severe side effects, or when patients do come back, and I noticed they took my nutrition education seriously, and they took my word for what kind of diet they should follow, what they should do to feel better, to stop, to reverse the malnutrition. They listened to me. Like, I love seeing people get better because of me. And maybe it's because it makes me feel like maybe I'm not so worthless after all. Maybe, you know, depression is such an ugly thing. And for the longest time, I thought I was worthless. I thought my life didn't matter. I thought that all I did was just cause trouble for people, and that really affected me for a long time. So when I saw that I was capable of doing good in my job in a hospital, I take so much pride in helping underserved people. And it makes me feel like I'm useful. Not in like I'm being exploited way, but obviously it's my job, yes, but I take pride in my job. Like, I go out of my way for people because it's the right thing to do. And if I was in their situation in such a vulnerable state, I I feel like it's it is not only my privilege, but it is my duty. And I feel so good about myself when I help these people heal, even if it's through nutrition therapy. There's so many, I know the answers to their problems basically. And when I give them the answers, solutions to their problems, that look of understanding of when I explain to them what to do, or why what's happening to their body is happening, or this is what's happening with your body because of this this disease or this procedure, and you need to do this, you need to do that, this is what can happen to you, and this is why you need to do that, or this, take the supplement, you're at risk of this kind of deficiency, you need to do this. And I give them papers to take home, like the look on their faces of like, I get it now, that makes so much sense, thank you, like I'm so grateful. Even times when I'm only at work for 3 hours, and the patients, sometimes I get really complicated patients, and they're there, you know basically venting to me, and I always take what they say seriously. It's hard to get medical burnout, but I know what it's like to be hurt and to need help. And I just feel so much compassion for people in those states, because, you know, now that I'm healing, now that I feel like I'm a better person, I used to, they say people treat others how they feel about themselves. And a lot of the times I would be angry at people that did me wrong, or that I felt like were exploiting me. And some, did, deserve to feel my unhappiness or my anger. But, you know, I used to wish a lot of people ill will, but now I realize how flawed people are, and how a lot of people don't love themselves. And I wish people did love themselves, because maybe we would be, if we were kinder to one another, the world would be a much better place, you know. But there's a lot of bad people in this world. There's a lot of mental illness, a lot of sick people. There are people that get enjoyment out of doing cruelty, and that's such a misfortune, but, that's the reality. But in a world where there's a lot of suffering and pain, I want, when I die, I want people, I want to be the kind of person that made a positive impact. And some, like, my legacy is not just going to be my son, but I feel like the interactions I have with other people is such a personal and sacred thing. The human experience is so unique, and I don't want to be the kind of person that leaves behind a legacy of misfortune, a legacy of, oh, I remember her, she was such an awful person, she did nothing but mess up people's lives or ruin their day or cause nothing but trouble. Like, I don't want to be that person. I want to be the person who does good in the world. And maybe it's my personal vendetta, maybe it's my own selfish way of trying to convince myself I'm a good person, but in a way it selfishly makes me feel like I matter. But I also know that, you don't know what someone else is going through. And, that compliment you give to someone could be what they needed to hear after a really awful year. You know, the medical advice I gave to a patient, like, maybe it was their first and only chance to talk to a nutrition expert, and so I need to take that opportunity, to help them, to help give them the right information they need to heal, and for it to be one less thing they have to worry about. because you'd be surprised how much it affects their quality of life. Like some people have gastrointestinal conditions that eating certain foods is going to give you a lot of pain. And I can give them the information. These are the foods that are bad for you because you had this kind of surgery, you have this kind of disease, and normal people with normal stomachs can eat it, but your stomach is different. You can't eat this because it'll give you pain. You know, if I can make that kind of change to someone where I don't need to worry about what I eat anymore because I was guided by this person who studied it at school, and now it's one less thing for me to worry about, and I'm so thankful for her. Like that just gives me like a sense of purpose. I feel like that's my purpose in life, is to at least nutrition to be one less thing for someone to worry about. And that gives me a deep sense of accomplishment, that gives me a sense of belonging, that makes me feel like life is worth living, that gives me purpose. And all of this is has been such a cathartic experience, and I encourage every single one of you to put yourself first. Not in a selfish way, like take from people or ignore people that might need your help, but it is important as givers to place boundaries. It took me so long to place boundaries for myself without feeling awful, without feeling like I was selfish. Like one mantra that helped me was never say yes to someone if you're saying no to yourself. Never sacrifice something that basically would be too detrimental for you. Like they say, like if someone needs money, if someone wants to borrow money from you, never give an amount that you're okay with them not paying you back. Like if they're asking for $100 and you're like, you know what, if you can pay me back, great. If not, whatever. But if they're asking like $10,000, you don't have $10,000, and they're trying to guilt trip you, like, well, I need you to give me $10,000, or this is gonna happen to me. Like, no, like you don't need to do that. Like they should. Yes, people should fix their own problems, but in my case, like if you can help someone without it costing you a lot, great. But also, don't neglect yourself. Don't get in relationships that are not in your best interest. Don't don't let someone exploit you, disrespect you. You are enough. You don't need to earn people's love. I mean, a relationship is give and take. Don't get me wrong, but don't feel like I need to do this high level of performance. I need to give this person all my money or else they're gonna leave me. Like, I mean, it's complicated. It is. But especially as women, we have so much to lose. We have so much to lose by getting in a relationship with the wrong person. We can risk getting murdered. There's so many stories out there of women and children getting killed by their own father, or women that go on dates, first dates, and the guy takes her to a hotel and he unalives her. We have to be so careful. And it is not selfish to tell the guy, I don't want you to pick me up. I want to meet in a restaurant, in a public place, and I don't want you to take me home. Like, let them earn your trust. Let them, you know, don't let someone love bomb you. Don't let someone make you blind with love that you put your safety at risk, is more what I'm talking about. Don't be afraid to be selfish for your well-being, but not in a way that it takes from other people. So I just wanted to make a good update because I feel so good. I feel so happy, and it's because of me. I'm making myself happy. I'm not looking for someone else to make me happy anymore. Like if someone comes along that meets all the requirements to be at my level, to be my equal, great. But I'm not gonna like pause my life to wait for that person. If he comes, great. If he doesn't, that's okay. Like it's not the end of the world. And I it took a lot of healing. It took a lot of self-reflection, and I needed to be honest with myself about a lot of things I wasn't doing that was in my best interest. And you'd be surprised how much being in denial and how much, you know, being in a routine can do so much damage. Don't be afraid to make changes that are good for you. You know, it'll be worth your while. So if anybody wants to comment their own like empowerment story or their own like personal story of how they came out of their depression or how they chose to love themselves, whether it's like a weight loss journey or escaping a narcissistic partner, narcissistic parent, or escaping a horrible country into a better country that gives you a better life, I would love to hear your stories. I'm open to any kind of comments, criticism, you name it. But I hope you all find the happiness that you deserve. And that's all I have to say for today.